Enjoy this clip from the 2022 Thrival Kit. In 2022, we have the option, survive or thrive. The 2022 Astrological Kit is here to help you thrive, to teach you about the astrology of 2022, but also to provide you with the resources you need to thrive and have an excellent year. Enjoy this information, and to learn more, visit accessibleastrology.com. All right, party people, here we go. Starting right away, we are jumping into January of 2022. Now, this month right out the gate is very, very interesting. It's very something that you got to kind of definitely be aware of, because so much really does change as the new year approaches and as the new year begins. And this is, been happening actually for a few years astrologically, which doesn't make tons of sense, but like why the Roman calendar is kind of aligning to such astronomical shifts doesn't totally make sense, but this has been happening for many years. Like, oftentimes I've said this before, that I think that the Roman calendar is based off the astrology of 2020 and beyond because of the transits we've had on these really important dates or shifting times in the Roman calendar. But let's go ahead and jump straight on into it. I just want to review the syllabus page to begin with, because here in the syllabus page, we're just looking at, the big things happening this month. And big things are happening. This is a month where we got a lot of different things going on. And so, oftentimes I like to think of January as a time to kind of rest and reflect and get ready for the new year. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know if January of 2022 has that energy. January of 2022, there's still a grind. We're still working out here. We're still making things happen. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the actual chart. So here we are, and I am, of course, basing all of these charts this year based in Denver, Colorado, and because I've just chosen that one. I used to think New York should be the center of the chart because of clients, but now I'm starting to think that actually the middle of America, and also New York, is no longer the center of the cultural revolution. So I want to just name that too, that, things have changed. Things have changed a lot since I started doing these outlooks, and so I'm just going to choose a city in the middle of the country. Okay, so here we are starting out the year, and right out the gate, we can already see that there's just a lot of very interesting and complex and fascinating information going on here. So the first thing that we're seeing is we are very much still in this Venus-Pluto conjunction. Venus is retrograde at the beginning of the year. We've also got Mercury in Capricorn, the Sun and Juno in Capricorn as well. And so what does that say to us? It says that this year ahead is going to have a lot of this, again, this Capricorn energy, from not so much about taking down structure, but this is much more about rebuilding new structures. This is about rebuilding new structures in our own personal life. And with the fact that we've got this moon conjunct Mars at the first day of the year, and this is the midnight chart, in fact, this also kind of tells us that there is some urgency here. And one of the things I feel very strongly about with 2022 is that this is not the year to be naive. I think there is some urgency in this year. There's some urgency to get ready, to get prepared. There's a lot of big changes happening, especially in America, with the Pluto return happening in 2022 as well. And so this shows us a certain kind of sense of urgency. One of the other features of this year that I find pretty interesting indeed is going to be the fact that we start off the year with this Uranus and Taurus trining all of this earth energy. So there's this piece here that's, again, harking to this idea that the earth, the ground, and how we've built everything wants to go through its revolution. It wants to go through its change. And so ways for you to think about it is, how do you want to structure your new world? What kind of contracts do you want to have? One of the things I've talked a lot about in the community at Accessible Astrology is, contracts are not just good for professional things, but they're good in friendships. Actually, they're good in relationships, because a lot of times we'll make promises to each other, especially when we have a lot of strong Sag that we might not be able to follow through on. And a contract kind of keeps us accountable. It tells us this is what we've agreed to, and this is what this is happening, and here's this didn't happen, and therefore this is this consequence, etc. And so I think there's a lot of that new contracts, like new arrangements, new agreements, new tax accountants, new banks, new ways no banks would be better, more credit unions, more more diversity of how you actually do your banking and your finances. And that's what this is about. It's setting up new structures, and that's going to be a huge part actually of 2022. But we also do have Jupiter now in Pisces, Athena, Neptune also in Pisces. So there's this hugely contrasting juxtaposition energy happening here, where part of the chart is saying, okay, get your poop in a group, make things happen. It's time to get grounded. It's time to ground all this crazy energy that's been happening. It's time to build these new structures. But at the same time, we've got, all of these planets in Pisces, which is la la land, right? So how do we build structure when we're in the dream? Well, that's the way to think about it, right? If you dream it, it will come, right? That's such a big piece of this. One of the things I really recommend for people to do is there is this theory that when you are trying to manifest something, and this has to be like really, your intentions have to be good and, right, and make sure you're connected to the right energy, right? That's something we want to kind of think of before we're setting intentions, but is really like writing it down, like putting a box on a piece of paper and then writing down on the paper what it is that you're wanting to kind of see happen. Another way to do it is to then sign it. So those same contracts that we're talking about building with other people, this is like contracts with the angels, let's call it. So this is infinite universe, whatever you want to call it, angels, whatever you want to call it. If you're asking, I want this, having deadlines and timelines to give clarity to those energies is actually incredibly helpful. So rather than saying, I want to be wealthy, it's more like I am wealthy because I have this much money in my bank account at this time, right? Or something of that nature. Again, I wouldn't put necessarily your bank account, but you understand what I mean. I am thin and fit and beautiful, and I can do it and I am able to walk up mountains without a problem, and I am able-bodied, and I feel great, in all of 2022. Do you know what I mean? And then you write it down and you write a contract to yourself into those energies. And that's a really great way to integrate Earth and intuition, which is this more watery Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter, Athena energy. To learn more, visit accessibleastrology.com. Thanks for listening.